For those people that may not know about this, today's video will be all about the aiming down sight spread issue for LMGs. I wanted to actually make this video a while ago, but I wasn't too sure if this was intended or not, but after talking to some people, it in fact does seem like a bug. Before I demonstrate, basically there's a problem with the LMGs where if you aim down sight and shoot too quick, the spread of your bullets will be extremely deviated when comparing to if you wait very slightly before shooting. I'm not too sure if this problem started with the spring patch, but it's recently been reported on CTA quite a few times, and to demonstrate this problem for anyone that has no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to aim down sight with the MG4, but I'll wait very slightly before I actually shoot, and as we can see the spread grouping is fairly tight. However, let's see what happens if I shoot immediately right after I aim down sight. You'll see in the next few groupings that the spread is a lot wider, and it seems like as LMGs have pretty bad hipfire spread, I'm wondering if some of the hipfire spread values are still being applied to your aiming down sight spread, which like I said before, I'm not too sure if this is intended or not, but the people that have been reporting this issue have been told to add it to the BF tracker website that tracks all the bugs in the game, which tells me this mechanic is not intended at all. Let's take a step back this time so there's a little more distance. I'm going to fire two groupings with a slight delay before I actually shoot, and as you can see, just like last time, the spread is relatively grouped up. And then I'll shoot another two groupings, but this time I'll shoot straight after aiming down sight. And just like before, the spread as I take a closer look is much wider, which is not a good thing to happen at all, especially in those heated gunfights. So what about other belt-fed LMGs? This time I'm using the LStat, which has slightly improved hipfire stats to the MG4. I'll shoot two groupings with a delay first, and as we can see the spread is fairly tight. However, if I shoot without a delay, the spread becomes extremely wild, as you can see, which is really not a good thing, and even looks a little bit worse than the MG4. If we compare a still image of the LStat groupings, I'm thinking the difference is pretty huge because the LStat has very little recoil and its spread increase per shot is lower than the MG4's, so the aiming down sight groupings with a delay on the left side are going to be pretty tight. But if we take a look on the right side with no delay, the groupings are huge, which tells me two different theories. The first one is if you aim down sight and shoot too quickly, you'll get hit with the max spread value of that weapon, instead of you normally hitting the max spread value after holding down the trigger for a certain amount of time. Or it's a case of, seeing as LMGs have pretty bad hipfire spread, there's simply just not enough time for it to reset to its intended aiming down sight spread value when you start the ADS animation. Let's see what happens with a magazine-fed LMG like the RPK-12M. As we can see, these groupings are with a slight delay, then the next ones on the right side will be if I shoot straight away. However, we can see the issue isn't as bad because the magazine-fed LMGs have improved hipfire spread and their max spread is quite a bit less than the belt-fed LMGs. But what about other weapons? Does it happen on carbines or assault rifles? Well, if we take a look at the AK-5C here, I did a few tests and yes, it does seem to happen very slightly, but it's absolutely nowhere near as bad as the LMGs. If I take a still image from the AK-5C, the left side has a delay, so the groupings are a little tighter compared to the right side that has no delay. Like I said, it seems like the issue is very slightly present on the carbines and probably most other weapons in the game, but it's really nowhere near as bad as the LMGs. So to summarize, what does it all mean? How will this affect you in game? Well, my advice is if you're using a belt-fed LMG, don't shoot immediately once you start the aiming down sight animation, or else you'll get hit with an insane amount of spread. Just give it a bit of time before you pull the trigger. But in the heat of the moment, most players probably just hold down the trigger straight away and suffer the insane spread without even realizing it. However, yes, I know it might seem like an intended mechanic as Dice did tone down the LMGs overall in the spring patch, but like I said before, the people on CTA that have brought up this issue on many occasions have been told either by a CTA community member or a Dice dev to post it in the BF tracker website that tracks all the problems in the game. So if it was intended, I really don't think they would say to add it to the BF tracker. Also, this hipfire spread issue when aiming down sight, from what I can remember, was a fairly big problem when the game first came out, but I do remember there being a patch that supposedly fixed the problem, so I'm not too sure if maybe this problem was reintroduced into the game since the spring patch a couple of months ago, or it's actually been in the game even before that. I mean, who really knows, but in my opinion, I don't think weapons should behave like this at all in the game, even on the belt-fed LMGs. The hipfire spread should instantly turn off and the intended ADS spread value should be applied for that particular weapon as soon as the game realizes you're aiming down sight. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what do you think about this problem. Maybe I've missed something. Leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.